Hello everyone, a very good evening to all of you. Welcome to the session. Kindly let me know if I am properly visible and audible to all of you. Hope things are fine. So those watching me for the first time, my name is Niharika John Mehra and I am your faculty of English. Here we have regular sessions on this channel and also on our main channel. Now ये जो session editorial का a very important one is daily 8 p.m. actually Monday to Saturday 8 p.m. on this channel. Okay. Apart from this, the classes here are on this channel are on Monday, Wednesday, and Friday as of now. And Tuesdays, Thursdays, and Saturday classes are on main channel 1:30 p.m. Those are the practice sessions. Okay, topic wise practice is what we are doing on this channel. So tomorrow we will be doing some vocabulary based questions at 1:30 p.m. इसके अलावा there are many free PDFs and other subjects classes going on this channel. So make sure आपने subscribe कर लिया है और जल्दी से like और share कर दो वीडियो को because we will start in 2 minutes. Okay. For those जो first time आए हैं यहाँ पे, for those जिनके लिए session बहुत new है, so editorial analysis, this is the editorial taken from the Hindu. It is there because first of all the language is very much similar to what you get in exam. Content for our essay and all आपको यहाँ से मिलता है. Then we practice skimming, that is reading in a way where we do read properly but save time as well. Now we do vocabulary part, we go through some words, learn them, revise them. Then we have grammar where we learn how a grammar how a part of speech or a grammatical rule is applied at a place in a sentence and how we can replicate it, हम खुद कैसे उसको यूज करें बाद में. और कुछ MCQs हैं so that आप लोग sharp on the top of your game रहना है, right? We cannot be just satisfied, okay ये 10 क्वेश्चन सही कर लिए आज के दिन के लिए बहुत है. We don't want to do that. Okay, so these are the features of this session. So we'll start with skimming. आपको skimming कैसे करनी है? Mostly ध्यान subject और verb पर देना है. You have to jump some words and read the important information जो यहाँ पर दी गई है. Okay. Another thing that you want to make sure is you don't translate. आपको translate नहीं करना है, lip sync नहीं करनी है. Don't read जैसे कि आपको ये याद करके किसी को सुनाना है, इतना आराम से नहीं करना है. You just have to understand the rough meaning of the given article. That's what आप अपने एग्जाम में भी करोगे, reading comprehension हो, ऐसे को चेक करना हो, है ना? So you try to have a cursory look at it. Still try and understand the meaning. Focus के साथ करो. और अभी मैं आपको 2.5 minutes दूंगी. आपको read करना है, skim करना है, and then I'll explain you. Okay? तो जब मैं explain करती हूँ, cross check कि आपने सही समझा है कि नहीं. Please start reading now. 2.5 minutes for you guys to read. Okay, I'll explain you now. You can cross check with what you have understood, आपके मन में क्या गया है, and if that matches or not. The failed summit, we saw that G7 summit in Canada took place. We also read about how late minute invitation was also given to RPM and he accepted it. Now, but what happened? So India must reassess, recheck the usefulness of attending G7 meeting. So useful है कितना है हमारे फेवर में कि नहीं. At 50, the GS7, a grouping of most advanced economies, should appear robust, cohesive, and experienced in managing global conflict. होना ऐसा चाहिए. Instead, G7 summit and outreach session in Canada presented a disunited, ineffective force. Two negatives we get to see here. It wasn't coherent, it was disunited and ineffective in the face of some of the most testing conflicts, including an escalating Russia-Ukraine war. So in the face of means किसके चलते? अभी तो और conflicts चल रहे, testing time है ना? So including Russia-Ukraine war, Israel-Iran strife, and Israel's ceaseless bombardment of Gaza. तो ये सबके चलते तो और better होना चाहिए, effective होना चाहिए, पर कुछ हुआ नहीं. In addition, it has been unable to deal with the biggest disruptor in the global trade, जो अभी सब चेंजेस करा है उससे डील नहीं कर पाए, दैट ऑफ द यूएस ट्रम्प एडमिनिस्ट्रेशंस रेसिप्रोकल टैरिफ्स वर्ल्ड वाइड. तो टैरिफ्स उन्होंने अभी न्यू अनाउंस करे हैं ट्रेड पर, उसके अगेंस्ट में कुछ नहीं कर पाए. उसके बारे में दिस ईयर्स G7 वाज रॉकी फ्रॉम द स्टार्ट, मतलब उसकी अच्छी स्टार्ट नहीं हुई. As host, Canada saw an unexpected election just months before the summit. Unexpected election just before summit हुए. I mean, सभी समझ गए होंगे. The government of Mark was still finding its feet. मतलब वो अभी भी अपनी जगह बनाने की कोशिश ही कर रहे हैं. They have just begun, which meant leaders such as PM Modi were invited just days before the summit. जिससे क्या हुआ? Last minute invitation हमें मिला. Upheavals in उतार चढ़ाव, a lot of ups and downs in US foreign and trade policy have also caught the grouping off guard. तो ये जो मिलना है off guard मतलब they didn't expect कि ये भी हो जाएगा. So that is called catching somebody off guard. Surprisingly ऐसा हुआ. US PM Trump's pivot to Russia on the Ukraine crisis and ambiguous approach to China have been particularly noted. US क्या क्या कर रहा है with respect to China, with respect to Russia भी notice करा जा रहा है. So Mr. Trump even suggested that G7 become G9, including Russia and China. उनको भी लेकर आओ, G9 बना दो. Much to the chagrin of other leaders. Chagrin means disappointment. So this is like other leaders don't want them, including Ukrainian president. उनके बीच में तो वॉर चल रहा है. Who was a special invitee. तो सोचो दुश्मन के सामने बोल रहे हैं कि आपका दुश्मन जो है उसको बुला लेते हैं, इसमें मेंबर बना लेते हैं. Mr. Trump's volte face from now you should know volte face means reversal. Okay, ये एक non-English but accepted, adopted in English phrase है जिसका मतलब होता है यू टर्न लेना. Volte face from proclaiming to be a peacetime president, his reversal from this title to actively supporting Israel's aggression was another issue. तो पहले बोलते हैं पीस लविंग पीस टाइम प्रेसिडेंट है और अभी एग्रेशन को सपोर्ट कर रहे हैं. The US refused to sign on to a draft statement by G7 members that called for a de-escalation or any criticism of Israel. तो इन्होंने मना कर दिया कि हम इजराइल के अगेंस्ट को साइन नहीं करेंगे एंड पोस्ट फॉर अ स्टेटमेंट दैट कंडेम्ड ईरान एंड उसके बदले वांटेड टू पुट इन अ स्टेटमेंट जिसमें ईरान को गलत बोला जा रहा है. Mr. Trump's early exit dealt another blow. We all saw that on the news again कि उन्होंने जल्दी वहाँ से पूरे समिट अटेंड नहीं करी. So that was another hit. Eventually, G7 was able to issue a joint statement on key issues. Eventually, कुछ की इश्यूज को लेकर कुछ तो हुआ, क्या हुआ? And a chair summary was issued to deal with the crisis at hand. ये सब क्राइसिस को डील करने के लिए कुछ summary, कुछ key points आए, along with the statements on less divisive issue such as AI and quantum computing. AI, quantum, क्रिटिकल मिनरल सप्लाई चेन, वाइल्ड फायर प्रिवेंशन, ये वाले इसके बारे में तो कम, लेकिन थोड़ा बहुत इनके बारे में भी था. बट देयर वाज नथिंग ऑन टेररिज्म एज इंडिया हैड होप्ड. इंडिया तो चाह रही थी कि वो टेररिज्म वाले मैटर को भी उठाया जाए, बट दैट डिडंट हैपन. Perhaps the most productive part of Mr. Modi's trip was his meeting with Mr. Kani and the decisions to restore Indian and Canadian High Commissioner. So सबसे productive, सबसे fruitful जो रहा वो था Mr. Modi का trip to Mr. Carney, because we saw there was restraint in the trade relationships and all इंडिया के बीच में, कनाडा के बीच में. तो अभी उन लोगों को साथ में लाने के लिए, रेस्टोर करने के लिए जो भी मीटिंग हो, and to reset ties rupture over the Nizar case. Nizar case में भी जो misunderstanding है जो भी है उसको clarify. However, the Carney government has not demonstrated any change in its position on the case. We don't have a clear-cut change that we could see उनकी government की तरफ से, और action against Khalistan extremism. Another topic जिस पे कोई action नहीं. Moreover, the G7 statement on TNR does not name any country, but is pointed in its reference to allegations of foreign interference and TNR made by Canada against India as well as China, Russia and Iran. TNR को लेकर भी इनका कोई clarity नहीं है. Short में समझना होता है. Details are required whenever we want to answer something. Yeah. Given the outcomes, the government must review the utility of India's participation in the process. है काम का, नहीं है काम का, ये सब के चलते we must think. To have PM travel more than 11,000 kilometers to address one outreach session on a fractious summit may not be the most optimal use of India's resources. इतना ट्रैवल करके, खर्चा करके जाना, समिट अटेंड करना with no such outcome, just for one session जहाँ पे भी कुछ हुआ नहीं. So author thinks ये हमारे resources का misuse है या full use नहीं है, optimal use नहीं है. Cohesive is being united, unified, being integrated, एक होकर कुछ करना. Ceaseless is unending, incessant, लगातार चलता जा रहा. Disruptor is a troublemaker, destabilizer. Chagrin is dismay, हमें अफसोस है, disappointment है, क्यों ऐसा हुआ, क्यों नहीं हुआ. This is once again volte face. I told you, U-turn, reversal, अचानक से बदल जाना behavior में, thoughts में, decision में. Ambiguous is something जहाँ clarity नहीं है. Outreach session is you go to a place to have a conversation, a dialogue, engage करना, संपर्क करना. Fractious is discordant, fraction है उनके बीच में, झगड़ा है, differences है, quarrelsome है. Transnational repression, that is cross border suppression. यहाँ पे cross border means nations के बीच में जो चल रहा है. Rupture is broken, damage, टूटना, खराब हो जाना, limits मिट जाना. Reset ties means rebuild, normalize करना. Optimal is the बेस्ट ऑफ समथिंग, सबसे उत्तम किसी का निकल कर आ रहा है ना, मोस्ट एफिशिएंट है किसी का कुछ, सो दैट इज ऑप्टिमल. सब्जेक्ट एंड वर्ब ऑफ द वेरी फर्स्ट सेंटेंस. G7 and should appear. Good job, guys. हाँ, छुपे हुए रहते हो आप लोग. Till the time I explain and like suddenly then I get to see some names commenting something. um Part of speech. Part of speech. It is adverb. I have marked a part of a sentence. I want you to tell me if this is an active voice or passive voice. One. This is passive voice, yes, because the summary was issued by someone. I just wanted to show you that not by is the word that we will always get to see if there is a passive voice present in a sentence. A passive voice लगा है तो by मिलेगा ही ऐसा नहीं होता. It's your understanding, comprehension है कि नहीं ये check होता है. So summary cannot issue something else, but summary खुद issue हुई थी. Summary itself got issued. So this is simple past tense passive. That's the exact answer. So the tone here that we get is critical, diplomatic because international ties and all के बारे में बात है and analysis है definitely of G7 summit. So the editorial critiques the summit's failure to provide leadership during global crisis. जो उसने 3 नाम गिनाए हैं global crisis के, highlighting US unilateralism, internal disunity, and India's questionable returns from its participation. So ये सारे जो चीजें हैं ये highlight हुई. It suggests India reassess the strategic unity of engaging in a grouping unable to speak with one voice on pressing global issues. तो ये क्या सही था हमारा कदम G7 में जाके to present ourselves outreach के लिए, उसको question करा गया है. Start with the questions now. C is the answer, right? What is the primary reason of editorial criticizing the summit? It failed to present a united front on major global crises. No need to even explain for those who have read it. Okay. The second answer is C again. Which of the things best describes Mr. Trump's approach? A departure from multilateral consensus, because unilateral हमने देखा है कि वो जो अपना मनमानी कर रहे हैं, so hence is the answer. See again, why does editorial question to the utility of India's participation in it? Because the summit lacked substance, मतलब कुछ main नहीं हुआ, and India's role was marginal, which was clearly seen. Fourth one. See again. Don't think C is my favorite option. It just happens. I don't know how my brain works at the time of setting answers. It automatically chooses C most of the times, but I'll make sure to correct this. What does the editorial imply about Canada's new government under Mark? It remains cautious and unchanged on key bilateral issues. Because what do we see? India expected that the relationship gets better between India and Canada, but the issue on Khalistan, there is still no word on it. So that's why Khalistani extremism still remains. Setting right answer is very easy. Making options, that part is difficult. The five answer is A. Finally, which of the following is a contrast drawn by the editorial between G7's AI focus and its silence on war? ओके, तो ये जो है ये AI focus and all नहीं हो पा रहा है. So they have given less importance to AI minerals and at the same time failed talking anything that is war related. तो करा क्या फिर? So A is the answer. Foreign trade policy वो भी तो डिस्कस नहीं हुई, बिकॉज यूएस तो वहाँ पे वैसे भी वहाँ पे भी यूनिलैटरल स्टैंस शो कर रहा था, है ना। 7th क्वेश्चन, the G7 summit was supposed to present what? A cohesive response to what? To response to threats. कौन से? Emerging global threats. Answer is no error. Let's go to the next question of error detection. Very easy. The second one, no, why you are naming it 6th or 7th? So off nahi aayega. Despite the outreach efforts, India's role remained how? Limited. So remained is verb, limited here is adjective, used as adjective. To a single session without any substantive solid contribution. Third one. Trump's refusal to endorse what? Endorse a joint statement has been undermined. D7's credibility. Why we are using passive? That makes no sense. Trump's refusal to endorse a joint statement. This refusal has undermined, क्योंकि रिफ्यूजल इज द डूअर हियर, जो करता है, जिसने कुछ काम किया, वो है रिफ्यूजल. So answer is C. Refusal has undermined the credibility. It is active in tone. The chair's summary highlights concern but does not. Summary still is the subject even after but when you are repeating it. तो हम सेम रखेंगे ना वर्ब सब्जेक्ट के अग्रीमेंट में, सिंगुलर के अग्रीमेंट में. Summary highlights concerns as a noun. This is your verb with S. So here also does will come with agreement, in agreement with the word summary. And yeah, that was a simple subject verb agreement error. क्यों नहीं पता था? Mr. Modi's meeting with Carney was seen as a diplomatic reset after the year. Was there the only year of tensions? No. After a year, we just want to talk about one number, we want to give that there was like a period of 12 months. So a year aega, the year nahi aa sakta. We are not talking about the only year or a specific unique year of tensions, okay? And hence the is not required. You can do years of tensions. I mean, since we don't have a specific information on um, there were many years or just 1 year, so you can even go for years, but of course, the year will not come. Despite high expectations, the summit proved largely ineffective, producing little in terms. That means summit के लिए कुछ negative बोलना है. So ineffectual. Okay, that's the only negative word we have in the whole set here. Symbolic कैसे होगा? Producing little in terms of consensus. Little मतलब no consensus was there. So effectual हुई नहीं, effective हुई नहीं. The PM's participation in a single session raised questions about the utility of expending such diplomatic capital money. Okay, so utility is the answer. Redundancy कैसे होगा? Already questions are raised. So questions are raised about a positive thing. That's why there are questions being raised. See the context also. People read the full sentence and answer. Answer is very simple. A. Grouping's internal contradictions were further highlighted by absence of, see, contradictions negative. Continue ho raha hai negative by the absence of a joint statement. That means we are not changing the tone. So simply highlight it. Yeah, because participation was useless. But then the question, see, question will be why didn't you pay attention? Okay, or why where was your mind when I was teaching? Let's say there is a question, I raised a question about this. I will raise a question about where was your mind. I won't raise a question on a negative point na, assuming कि वो होना ही था. I hope this makes sense. This should be easy now. Fourth one should be easy if you have been paying attention. Answer is hidden in the question. The leader's sudden policy reversal was seen as volte-face. Yes. So as I told you, this is adopted. This is French origin. Maybe I'm pronouncing it wrong, but I myself learned it recently. I'm being honest with you. ऐसा नहीं है ना रोज रोज यूज करते हैं. Rather than naming specific nations, the final document adopted a dash tone. Rather than naming, so what kind of tone would have been adopted? So, assertive tone, conciliatory tone, neutral. We are talking about a cautious tone. Specific nations को नहीं नाम दिया. So you are not naming, so you are being cautious, right? You are not naming, so you are being naming. What is neutral about it? The final document didn't name anyone. They wanted to take all the precautions. They wanted to be cautious. They didn't want to be neutral or clear. So circumspect tone referring vaguely देखो आगे भी तो पढ़ो. They are not referring ना vaguely to concerns over the transnational repression. Dismissive is saying no completely. It's a negative word that we don't want at this point because थोड़ा बहुत तो mention है but clarity नहीं है. So it's something like I want to talk about it but I cannot clearly talk about it. So that is being cautious. Okay, circumspect, which is an adjective, will come here. D. Okay, so we are done here with the questions, and I hope that you have again learned a lot from the questions, from the part where we read things and all. Just keep attending the classes, keep sharing and liking as well, so we can have more students and we can continue our sessions like this. Okay, take care. Thank you, Abhishek. I hope you get to learn. Bye bye. Thank you to all of